everything that happens in our lives are orchestrated, right? There is a plan that was set in motion for you before you were ever born. And if you ever were to chart back the small integral details that if they had not happened, whatever happened for you positively would have never happened, you would know that it didn't just happen. Like, I don't believe in this word that people call luck. Like, you can call it, I would rather use the word a blessing than luck. I don't really believe in the word luck.
What did your parents do growing up? You know, what did your parents do? And what kind of kid were you? Were you a good kid? Were you a good kid growing up? I mean,
okay, I'll give you that in pieces. Let's say that. Okay, so I was actually adopted. I was an only child, and I was adopted at 3 years old. I was born in New York. That's an interesting story. My father adopted me from Tennessee, a kid in New York. It's the craziest thing in the world. I'll make that really short. But so he had three things that he did. So he was a banker. That was his job, regular job. But he also taught driving education like 3 days a week after school at one of the local high schools. And he and my grandmother owned a florist. So that was a weekend thing, you know, like, you know, funerals and things like that. So we had a florist shop, all that kind of jazz. So I mean, I saw him work really hard. He had a lot of a lot of ways, and all of that was so I could go to private school. We lived in a great neighborhood. I grew up what would feel like upper middle class, but he was working really hard to keep all that together.
So you kind of hit the adoptive parent lotto, though.
Yeah, things went well
like
for me. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like it worked out good for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you asked, was I a good kid? I liked to, in my younger age, I liked to talk a lot. And again, all these things, you know, leave clues, right? I was very antsy, very communicative, wanted to make the kids laugh, all that kind of. I'm an only child as well, so this is my interaction. This is my playtime. School was, because I didn't have anybody to do that with at home. So early childhood, before I really got into sports, I was always getting in trouble. Whatever little marks you're going to get on the board, I had plenty of those. But once I got sports to kind of get my energy out and all that kind of jazz, yeah, I mean, yeah, I was your typical regular kid.
That's cool. That's cool. And so you know, fast forward all these years, you went to school, you went to college, and you get out, and all of a sudden this guy comes and talks to you about this business. And so how did he approach you, and kind of re-explain a little bit of how he approached you? And you kind of said that he didn't really, he could have done it a better way. If maybe teach us something.
Well, I think it would be better, Daniel, like, but how my frat brother got to me, who got to him, who got to me.
Okay.
And I think that is just tremendous, because I'm always telling people, in a business like ours, or business period, nothing happens haphazardly. I know it may not be, you know, all of your listeners or subscribers are believers, but for those who are, everything that happens in our lives are orchestrated, right? There is a plan that was set in motion for you before you were ever born. And if you ever were to chart back the small integral details that if they had not happened, whatever happened for you positively would have never happened, you would know that it didn't just happen. Like, I don't believe in this word that people call luck. Like, you can call it, I would rather use the word a blessing than luck. I don't really believe in the word luck. Unless I win the lottery, and then I'm gonna say I was extremely lucky. God was not involved.
Well, I mean, you were extremely blessed too. So
the lottery, right. But the point is, so check this out. So the guy that, and now picture this, my frat brother. I'll make this short. My frat brother was a manager at Blockbuster Video. I do this like in schools a lot, Daniel, to kind of get people to understand, you know, how this thing can get going for him. So he was a manager at a Blockbuster Video, and so there was a part-time district leader that was what he would consider himself to be a country music singer. Now remember, I joined in Nashville, So he was a part-time country music singer. I always tell people he looked like the lead singer from REO Speedwagon. Remember them? He had the kind of a curly fro thing, which on Caucasians doesn't really look that cool. And he had a bit of a big Seth Rogen type deal, you know?
Oh,
so
man.
He kind of had a little ducktail to go along with that. So I can picture him in the parking lot of that Blockbuster Video, agonizing in his car about going to prospect. And so if he doesn't get out of that car and get the gumption up to go into that store with the purpose of prospecting, point number one, I'm not here. Okay, my organization's not here, right? So number two, he walks in and he says, like it's just like in the old movies where the you know, they would come into a planet and the aliens come in and the first thing they're going to say is, take me to your leader. See, when we're prospecting anybody when we should be saying, take me to your leader. So when he walked in, he said the first thing, now you know this, but your listeners don't. Can I speak to your manager, was what he said. So my frat brother was the manager. Now he could have talked to the guy that was putting the videos out on the shelf and nothing would have happened. He said the manager, because the manager knows people like him, which was me. So he goes in, can I speak to your manager? That was point number two. He said the exact same thing, the right thing he should have said. Point number three was, he said, are you keeping your options open to make additional income? That was it. I mean, we talked to our people about these very simple things to say, and he said that. And of course, I always tell people, if you ask Bill Gates, hey, you keep your options open to make additional income? I am. But hey, Oprah, you keeping your options open? Zuckerberg, you keeping your options open? Every single one of them, I'm going to say yes. Now, that's not saying they want to do business with you, but they are keeping their option open. It's a setup. So he said yes. So he actually gets involved. Then it was 6 months. After that, he puts together his list. I'm on the list. He's saying all the wrong things. We're going to get rich selling life insurance. Well, no, I want to be a lawyer. I got a plan. 10 years from now, I'm making $250 a year, which was my goal. My goal, if you had asked me, which the RVP did in that meeting, hey, what's your dream income? $250. Do that without hesitating, right? So $250,000 in Nashville, Tennessee, you're doing pretty good, right? And so finally, as opposed to that Primerica talk or, or the all that talk, right? He finally, pretty much kind of cursed me out and put it on our relationship. He really, really did. He put it on our relationship. All I've done for you, and man, we've been close like this, and I've been here for you. This, I'll let you borrow some money. And I'm like, okay, buddy, fine, I'll go. I was really serious about coming to that meeting. Back then, I was still playing basketball as if somebody was going to sign me, though I was 23 years old, right? So I said, okay, I will go to the meeting. There are 2 conditions. And I literally said this: I am not joining and I am not buying, but I will come to support you, which is all we're asking people to do.
That's it. That's it. And by the way, Joe, yeah, by the way, I mean, that's the key right there, is that sometimes if somebody just comes to support you, they don't even, like, you think that person making $100,000 a year, they would never be interested in what we're doing or joining you in business. But the truth is I don't really care whether they're interested or not. I just want them to come check it out. Let me get them in the room, and let's let the leader take care of the rest.
100%. And that's what happened in the meeting. And just from our perspective, I saw a combination of 2 dramatic things. I can take that further if you'd like, but I saw the marriage of financial services and distribution, which I had never seen before. I didn't understand. I understood the 2 separate entities, but not them together. And that's the reason why I decided to join.
If you like this video and you want to watch another one, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.